Welcome everyone to this session today. We'll just wait a couple of minutes while you all enter the room and then we'll get started. Welcome everyone as you join this session. We're just waiting for you to enter the room. We've got 20 people joined us so far, but it's still climbing. So we'll just wait a moment or two for that number to settle, and then we will get started with this session. Again, we'll just wait a moment or two. It's 12 o'clock according to my clock, but we'll just give you one more minute and then we'll get started, because there are a couple of people just joining. So welcome everyone to this session, this preview session about OR62 Online. My name is Frances O'Brien. I'm one of the co-chairs, and I'm joined today by John, Vin and Justin, who are part of the organising committee. So before we start, I'd just like to go over a few housekeeping points, which are not only useful for today, but will be useful for yourselves when the conference proper is running next week. As you can see here, we're suggesting that you place the speaker in the top right-hand corner where the orange box is put. And that's really so that you can see all of the slides and that the pictures are not covering the information that's on the slide. If you have any questions or messages to us, then please do use the chat function rather than raising your hand. Alternatively, if you have any questions, please do use the Q&A function that you should be able to see in your banner. And we will address those questions at the end of our little presentation. Now, one of the functionalities of Zoom is that you can upweight questions. So if you really want a particular question answered, then please do use that facility to move it up the list of questions so that we make sure that we answer that. But we will try to get through as many, if not all of your questions towards the end of the session. Now, during today's session, we've got two polls which are going to pop up on your screen. Don't worry, we will warn you as they do. But these are not accessible via the browser. So hopefully you will be able to access them and get that practice today, so that if there are any polls in the sessions that you attend next week, you are familiar with that. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to start with this welcome to you, explain to you a little bit about the conference and managing your expectations, what to expect, and also giving you some hints and tips about how to get the most out of the conference. And as I said, at the end, we will have a Q&A session where you can raise your questions. So just a reminder, as we go through, please type in any questions you have either in the chat or in the Q&A box. So I've introduced the four speakers that are with me today, but we don't know who you are. So we thought we'd just do a little quick practice poll with you. Geraldine, could you please share the poll? So can you just click on this and let us know whether or not you are a member of the OR Society? And the numbers that are coming in are, majority are members of the society, around about 80%. So you may well be familiar with our conferences in the past, but we have 20% who are not members. So we don't know whether you've been to any of our events or conferences in the past. You are very welcome. We're thrilled that all of you have been able to join us today and that you've signed up for the conference. It's a really exciting time. I'm going to hit the end of the poll now, which I think means it will disappear. Geraldine, do I just need to share results? See, even I'm new to this. I have done it before, but I keep forgetting. Let's see what happens if I push that button. There we go. Hopefully you can see that too. There we go. See, I've done a few of these webinars over the lockdown months with the Women in OR and Analytics Network, but even us seasoned practitioners get it wrong some of the time. So when we first met as a committee back in February, this is the organising committee, we were planning our usual annual conference as a face-to-face thing at the University of Warwick, which is where I'm based, hence being a co-chair. And we'd done a tour of the campus to check the facilities that were on offer. And we were moving full steam ahead with the planning, and then we were hit by a lockdown around late March. And it became clear to us pretty quickly that we wouldn't be able to hold the face-to-face conference come September. So instead, we explored how we could facilitate a conference that had many of the characteristics that have formed the staple of our UK OR Society annual conference that a lot of us have grown used to. So we worked really hard to develop this exciting programme we've got for you. And I'm really pleased to say that we have many of the key characteristics that our annual conference had, and some new additions too that the technology has enabled us to bring in. As is usual, our conference is running over 3 days, and this time we've made more of the additional pre-day that's starting on Monday. Now, they say every cloud has a silver lining, and one of the opportunities that we've taken advantage of, given our current situation, is that we've been able to attract a truly international gathering of speakers and delegates from around the world. As we were moving towards the end of last week, we had over 1,000 people signed up for the conference. Now, we know that not all of those will necessarily turn up on the day, so to speak, and won't necessarily attend all 3 days. But given that our maximum conference attendance in the past was around 400, that really is amazing. Now, to accommodate our global audience, we've kept the schedule of sessions predominantly to the middle of the day UK time. Now, we have an exciting lineup of plenary speakers, one on each of the main conference days. And we start on Tuesday with Dimitris Bertsimas, who's going to be talking about interpretable artificial intelligence. On the Wednesday, we move on to the softer side of OR with our systems plenary speaker, Ellen Lewis, who's going to talk about inclusive systemic evaluation, deepening understandings of engagement and community. And our final plenary on Thursday is Dr. Patrick Reed, who's talking on conflict, coordination and control. Do we understand the actual rules used to balance flooding, energy and agricultural trade-offs in river basins? So, as you can see, we've a great collection of plenary speakers who not only balance the genders, but who balance both the soft and hard sides of operational research. Now, the OR Society has always been proud of our heritage in encompassing a broad range of spectrums of approaches in OR, and our annual conferences have always reflected this with their coverage of both hard and soft OR. And so another feature of the conference that we've worked hard to maintain is a mixture of both academic and practitioner speakers and delegates. And this year we've developed a programme of parallel sessions covering a broad range of OR topics and themes using a mixture of different formats. So some of the sessions will centre around a single or maybe 2 speakers. Some sessions have multiple speakers to between 3 and 5. And other sessions are offering a panel discussion around various topical issues. Now, the pre-day for our conference, we have 2 of the Society's special interest groups hosting events. We have the Pro Bono special interest group, which is running the first session of the day. And then we have the Women in OR and Analytics Network, which is running a session in conjunction with the Euro Wisdom Forum. And the theme for that session is women in leadership. And I'm delighted to say we have 4 senior women from the field of OR academia and practice. And also during that pre-day, we have an early careers workshop where people can gain valuable information about developing their research careers. This Early Careers Researchers Network is a launch event, and it's open to anyone beginning their research career in OR, whether you're a final year PhD student, postdoctoral student, or someone with, say, under 5 years experience. Now, one of the important elements of our Society's conference is the networking opportunities that there are between sessions and in the evenings. Now, it is much harder to do this virtually, but over lockdown, the Society's been experimenting with various sessions. They've had webinar Wednesdays, and the Warren has run a lockdown series. And we've run some successful networking sessions during these events. So both on Tuesday and Wednesday evenings, that's day 1 and day 2 of the conference, we have an informal networking session at the end of the day where we'd encourage you to come along with your cup of coffee or your glass of wine, depending on what time zone you're in. And what we'll do is we'll create some small groupings where you can get to know each other, you know, in groups of say 3 to 5 people. And we've kept the pub quiz, which will take place on the Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock UK time. Now, running any conference is not without its costs, and even a virtual event such as we're running next week is no different. Therefore, we're really grateful to our sponsors for supporting our conference, and that's Simulate, DSTL, Sirius and Evenia Labs. And without their support, running this event would have been really quite difficult for the Society. So thank you very much. That's all from me for now. I'll see you again in a moment, but I'm going to hand over to my colleague, John, who's going to give you a taster of some of the other highlights in the conference.
Right, thank you. Thanks, Francis. Now, as Francis has said, one of the things that we've tried very hard to do with this online conference is to maintain as many of the features that are as possible that are familiar to people from OR conferences in the past. So one of the things that we're hoping to do is we will be having a competition for the President's Medal, as we normally do. And this will be on the Wednesday morning after the plenary speaker. This is one of the most prestigious OR awards and is awarded for the best practical example of OR that is presented that year. And the way that it works is that each of the teams that are competing for the medal will make a short presentation with a very strict time limit, and then they'll have to respond to questions from the judging panel and their peers. And at the end of the session, we'll have a vote, as happens at the live conference, as to which entry best meets the criteria for the award. But again, as at the live conference, the judging panel will have the final say. Now this year we have three different teams competing. We have one which is from Naz Mustafi and John Powell, who have an entry called NHS Quicker, which is aimed at shaping demand for urgent care. We also have an entry from Copperleaf and the National Grid electricity transmission people, who are looking at circuit optimization. And finally, we have what looks like a very interesting talk from the Department for Transport Analytics Unit, who are going to talk about some of the work that they've done to analyse population movement for COVID-19 response work. Okay. Right, thank you. If I could have the next slide, please. We're also trying to have a go at one of the other regular features of the conference, which are the grand challenges. Now, traditionally, what we've done is that the grand challenge is based around the area where the conference is being held. So there was a grand challenges of Glasgow, there was a grand challenges of Kent, there were grand challenges of Lancaster. However, this year we feel that the conference, because it's an online conference and can be accessed from around the world, that really the theatre that this conference is addressing is the world. And as a result, we're going to have a session on the grand challenges of the world. Now, this is going to be based around the Sustainable Development Goals. And the question that we'll be focusing on is how OR can help build back better after the attack, after the onslaught of COVID-19. And as usual, what we do is we basically take the advantage of the combined brains and intellect that is present at the conference to help structure the problem, understand the problem, and propose some ways in which OR might be able to help. And the idea is then that those ideas can be taken forward as pro bono projects or consultancy projects, and that they can then contribute to actually solving some of these problems, and thereby the OR can actually make a practical difference in the world. And this year we're going to have some guest speakers. We've got Leonardo Maldonado, who's the CEO of Gulliver and who has been heavily involved in the Cities Can Be initiative, which is aimed at trying to drive the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals from a city level. And we also have Jessica Lobo, who is the Global Goals Programme Manager for the UN Global Compact Network UK, and they'll be giving an introduction to the problem. And then we'll be having a large workshop, and we don't quite yet know just how large the workshop will be. So one of the things we were wondering was that whether we could get you to answer a short poll about whether you'd be intending to turn up at the Grand Challenge. So if everybody could vote, I would really appreciate it. Because at the moment, we don't know whether we're going to have a workshop of 200 or a workshop of 50. So yes, all the numbers are coming in. Looks about 50-50 at the moment. Okay, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. And I'll hand over to the next speaker.
So hello everyone. So I'm Vinh Duan. I'm one of the member of the organizing committee for OR62, and thanks to two of our program coordinator, Professor Petrovic from Nottingham University and Dr. Crow from UCL, we have been able to provide quite a wide range of sessions, and it includes several kind of topics or OR models, such as the DEA, Data Development Analysis. Francis, can you continue with the slides? Yeah, so we have 18 streams, and we cover quite a number of OR methods such as DEA, meta-heuristic, optimization, simulation, forecasting, system thinking, and problem structuring, which cover both hard and soft of OR, meaning in the OR society. In addition to these OR methods, we also cover quite a lot of applications, which include healthcare, analytics, artificial intelligence, logistics, maritime operation, sustainable development goals. In addition to that, there are about 6 streams which the topical topic of COVID-19 will be presented in this kind of session, which cover quite a lot of issues, from strategic issue, from health problem, health issues, and also from the modeling issue or simulation issue with COVID-related topics. So in terms of speakers, thanks to kind of the online format of our of our conference, OR62, we have academics from UK, from Europe, and North America, even though with the time consistent of the conference. And we also have practitioners, for example, a speaker from Simulate, one of our sponsor. We have people from Foremost, the UK largest credit risk consultancies, and in addition from public sector such as HMRC and NHS. In terms of format, as Francis mentioned, we have quite a variety of format. So the regular presentation format, we have talks plus single speaker or multiple speakers. We also have panel discussion in which that as participant, you are able to have kind of an interactive session with the panelists. And finally, we also have some stream using the workshop format where software is demonstrated, such as Python, or in the DA session, there will be some software demonstration with modeling technique. So overall, we are very happy to see that we are able to schedule quite a variety of session in a different kind of topic, in addition to COVID-related topic as well, and with variety of speaker. So now I would like to hand over to the next speaker, Justin, to talk about the app and the scheduling of the conference. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Finn. Welcome, everybody. My name is Justin Mingay, and I'm the Head of Member Experience for the OR Society. We've long partnered with an organisation called Results Direct to deliver mobile and digital technology across our events and conferences. And for sort of OR62 Online, you know, we've invested in a dedicated conference app to deliver you your personal conference experience across the entire event. It is important to actually activate and set up your account. We've emailed all registrants so far at 5 p.m. yesterday to the conference with their unique activation email. So if you can simply follow the instructions in that email to get set up and to get into the app, that's effectively where your OR62 experience begins. Now, after that, convenient access is provided via your smart device and your desktop. So of course you can watch and experience the entire conference from the comfort of your office or workplace, or of course take it with you on your smart device. And the login that you activate works for both. You get a full conference experience. You can access the schedule, go through the agenda, set up your profile, which would be nice and important, obviously, to engage with other delegates, with speakers, with sponsors, and you get a full directory there as well. Yeah, great, and that's the direct hub to watch all of the sessions as well. So hopefully a dedicated hub for your entire conference experience. Francis, if you can kick on the next slide, please. There'll probably be no surprise that we've used Zoom as our choice of conference platform. It was a clear choice for the planning committee, given its popularity, and we've all found it, you know, very easy to engage with. Obviously, we're all still getting used to it, and it's becoming a bigger feature in our daily and working lives, both with us in the society and across the globe as well. And we found as well for speakers and for the networking sessions, Zoom should work really, really well. And of course, we're using it today. Access to the sessions across the conference will be through the app. You'll simply go to the schedule, either from your own personal built calendar or from the sessions themselves, and click the link to begin your Zoom experience on that. Next slide, please. We've also got an active social media presence across the conference and now. So if you'd like to get involved and participate, please start using the hashtag OR62. And there's also a timeline feature within the app as well, where you can add photos, add comments, even add your own content as well, which can be linked directly through to the sessions that you're in. So lots happening, and we're looking forward to welcoming you both at the conference and via social media. Over to you, Francis.
Sorry about that, folks. I hit the wrong button. I can't even blame that one on the cat. So just a few takeaways. If you've got 5 minutes today, we would encourage you to, if you haven't already done so, to register for the conference, to download Zoom to your desktop, your smart devices, and to create your event app account. You should have received the email link yesterday. As Justin said, that went out yesterday evening UK time. And do get involved by following the hashtag on whatever social media platform you're most familiar with and use regularly. So thank you very much for joining us today. I'm just going to now see whether there are any questions being posted into the app. So a question from Ruth saying she's tried to log into the app with the email and it says no access because I'm not registered. I wonder whether it's a question that I could invite Justin to respond to. What can Ruth do to make sure that she... Who should she send an email to somebody for that to be checked up on?
Yeah, sure, thank you. If you've registered for the conference via our website, which is a platform called Events Force, but that's the main thing you'll use by going through the website. You should then be able to access it, even if you send a kind of forgotten password request or something.
It says she is registered. She is registered.
Okay.
So
okay.
It may be a technical issue. Maybe we should take this offline and we can come back to you, Ruth, on that. Is that all right, Justin?
Yeah, great. I'll email you directly, Ruth, and we'll look into that for you. Okay.
So we have another question from Benjamin saying, will all the sessions be recorded and available for viewing after the conference? Yes, that is the plan. They will be recorded and uploaded shortly after and available for a amount of time available freely. And then after a certain amount of time, they'll go behind the Society's firewall. But certainly immediately after the conference and for people that are registered, you should be able to access the videos. Any other questions from people?
Francis, I have a question here from Bob. Do we have to register for each individual session we intend to attend?
Let me ask Justin that one. Justin is our technical expert of the four of us.
Great. We are actually doing a test in the next 30 minutes to see whether you have to basically put in some very simple details in before you access the session versus simply clicking the Zoom link within the app to access the session. So access is very simple and straightforward. We're just working out whether we will ask you for your, name and email address before you do that. But if you do it once, it's then covered for the entire conference. But we're just checking that final detail before we go live on Monday.
But it will be via the session link, the session Zoom link. So you will have to enter each session separately, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Geraldine, do you have any more questions?
Yes, a question from Shandan. Are there any certification available for participants?
Again, I look to Justin from the Society for that one.
Great. Certification, yes. I mean, CPD points will be available for this, and we can issue certification for that. If that's what you mean by certification, then yeah, there are CPD points available for that. Hopefully that answers the question.
Question from Graham. Are sessions being recorded and will they be available later?
Yes, we had a similar question. I think it was from Benjamin earlier on. The plan is to record all sessions and to make them available shortly after the session has ended. My understanding is that those recordings will be freely available for a time, and then they will go behind the Society's wall as a benefit for members.
Okay, a question from Ruth. Is there any limit on numbers for each session? I think that'll be one for you, Justin.
We're happy that we have appropriate capacity in our Zoom licenses, but this is a situation we'll be monitoring if we have a huge surge of interest over the coming days, but it's something that we're actively monitoring, and we do have capacity for all of the sessions, yes.
Okay, thank you. Another question around networking. How can I interact with fellow delegates given that it's a virtual conference?
We have to, I'll take that one to begin with, and then I'll hand over to Justin for about the app, because you can fill in the details on that. But we have 2 networking sessions on the Tuesday evening, that's day 1, and the Wednesday evening UK time. Well, when I say evening, I mean at the end of the day, so it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon here, where we have these micro networking sessions where we will see who is in the networking session, and then we'll split you up into relatively small groups, and we'll do that a couple of times so that you get to meet different people in each of those networking sessions. Justin, are there opportunities for people to interact through the app? You mentioned about us uploading our profile so that people could see some information about us.
Certainly. Yeah, one of the reasons why we invested in the conference app that we've gone for OR62 Online is how easy it does make networking for our delegates. The first thing that you can do is, like you say, set up your profile, make your name, your email address, if you wish, a photo very clear, and then you'll find a directory of other delegates, the speakers, the sponsors, so you can really communicate directly with people across the conference. And there's also a timeline function as well. So again, if you were attending this session, for example, while at the conference, you could actually be posting photos and questions and content based on this and tag it to the specific session. So lots and lots of opportunities, not forgetting the social media hashtag that you can use as well to kind of network more broadly as well. So lots of opportunities.
Another question for you, John, around Grand Challenges. Could you give a little bit more information about how the Grand Challenge will be handled?
Yeah, well, it's going to be quite an exciting one, because I think that firstly it's an online workshop, which is not something I've done before, although Miles assures me that it is perfectly feasible. And we're not entirely certain of how many people are going to be turning up. The basic plan is that it will start with some sessions that will basically set the scene for the problem. And what we'll then do is we'll probably split up into 3 different groups. Each of those will have a facilitator. We have an online system where essentially it's an online whiteboard that everybody will be able to participate in. And what we'll be doing is we'll start with we don't think it's sensible to try and build a whole rich picture in the time, but what we'll do is we'll start with like a skeleton rich picture, and we'll get people to add things that they think are important to that diagram using the icon. There's like an icon function. And then one of the things that we're planning to do is that we'll gather in the ideas about what OR could do by doing it with post-it notes. And again, these will be ones that effectively, what you'll be doing is there will be a link sent out, and you'll be able to click through and get access to this online whiteboard. So if we can get all that working, that will be wonderful, and I'll be very interested to see it. Obviously, like with all technical things, there may be some issues, but you don't try something, you don't learn anything, do you? So it's good. And I think it's likely to be of great interest to anybody who's in a position where they're having to start doing online workshops, because I think this is going to be quite ambitious in its scale, potentially, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Thanks, John.
And just last one question for Justin. Is there anything that, if I'm attending the conference, is there anything I need to do today? Anything else I need to do today?
Register, activate your event app, and yeah, get involved. Have a set up your profile, have a look at some of the sessions, engage with a lot of the content we put on the website. Yeah, there's a lot going to be happening. So yeah, start today. Start now.
So one final word from myself. Thanks very much to my co-presenters, and thank you for attending today. I hope you found it useful, and we look forward to interacting with you in the conference next week.